I've never been told what songs to sing, what songs to put on an album. Never. And I'm grateful for that because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's gonna, you know, I'm gonna live or die by the choices. And I'd much rather have a failure that was my choice than somebody else's.
Exciting times, Keith. The new album, High, I've listened to it a number of times already and I love it. There's some great energy on that album.
Thank you very much. That's a good word for it.
And it really does come across. How long have you been working on High?
Well, I started work on another record back in end of 21, going into 22. That record was going to be called 615, and I recorded 13 songs all across 2022. Uh, Beginning of 23, I brought that record in, 13 songs, and I wasn't happy with it. But there was four songs on that album: Messed Up As Me, Daytona, Heart Like a Hometown, and Break the Chain. And I loved those four songs. So I cherry picked those four, scrapped the rest, and started rebuilding. And that album became High.
Obviously, you're at a stage of your career now. Did you have record executives shouting at you or trying to put pressure on? Because obviously, the change of plan like that will have repercussions, right?
Yeah, very much. More so in our world because of the touring. I knew it was going to push the tour off a whole year. So when we should have been touring in 24. But last year, when I wasn't happy with the record, I could see the writing on the wall, and I went, let's push the tour off into 25. Let's do this right. Let's get these songs done. Let me feel good about this. But I've been really fortunate to have a record company. I've been with Capitol Records for a long time, and they've always just let me make my records the way I want to make them. And when I'm ready, turn them in, and we get rolling. So that's never changed. But that was more due to when I moved to Nashville. And uh, early on, someone said to me, what's your goal? And I said, well, the goal is to get a record deal. And they went, no, the goal is to get the right record deal, the one that gives you creative freedom and final say, because you're going to really want that, as you get rolling in your career. So I had it from day one, and that'd been amazing.
I mean, talk about use some wisdom there from whoever told you that. And there's a lesson for any aspiring stars who are watching or listening to this right now. Don't
Mm.
just snap the first record deal, maybe. Have a think about it.
I've never been told what songs to sing, what songs to put on an album. Never. And I'm grateful for that because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's gonna, you know, I'm gonna live or die by the choices. And I'd much rather have a failure that was my choice than somebody else's.
That is a good way of looking at it. Now you mentioned a number of those songs. Now, funnily enough, I've got a mental note of some of the songs that really, tick my boxes as I was listening to High, and a number of them are the ones you just mentioned. But if we get into some of the tracks and start with the more familiar ones, the ones that we're playing on Smooth Country right now. So, Messed Up As Me. I know there's quite a story behind that, but would you like to explain that for people?
Yeah, this is one of the songs that was on the previous record I was working on, and I just loved it. You know, I've been this guy in the song. I know this couple in the song really well. I know this place. Uh, Matter of fact, we just filmed a video for it that's going to be coming out soon, and it really goes even further into that 2:45 a.m. place that most people watching will know about. I'm really glad that the song is connected the way it has, and even when we started playing it live, it was people were responding to it.
Oh wow. Well, I'm
Mm.
I'm really excited because we're familiar with some of the tracks already, some of the singles. Another one, Go Home With You. Now, Lainey Wilson is involved in this, of course. And
Yeah,
did I hear right? Did you approach her directly to get
yeah,
involved with this song?
I always do. I mean, that's again, I gotta do. I like doing it myself, and I really loved. I knew about Lainey a couple of years ago, and went, okay, I'd love to find something for us to do because I love her voice. And then this song was already I'd already recorded this song, but just on my own. It wasn't a duet. And a friend of mine, Dan McCarroll, said that actually be a really good duet. And I went, oh, I got the perfect person, and I sent it to Lainey, and luckily she loved the song. and just took it to another level. It was so fun getting to do that with her.
Some people from more of a distance away from your life might think, oh, your people talk to her people, and there's all sorts of intermediaries and stuff like that. But it's really, I suppose, interesting for us to hear that. Did you just get her number from someone and just text her?
Yeah, it's a balancing act because I don't ever want to put somebody in an awkward spot.
Yeah.
Like that's the flip side of it. So if I don't know the artist, which I didn't know Lainey that well, I just sort of said to people who are around her, "Hey, I've got a song that she might be interested in. Do you think that's something I could send to her or whatever?" And I got her number, and then I texted her myself and I said, I've got a song that I think you might like. If you don't like it, no problem, but I just think you might like it. And she said, "Yeah, send it to me." So I sent her the song. She texted back, "I love this song." And then I sent her all the files. She put her vocal on the song at her studio and sent me back a whole bunch of different takes of the song. And my engineer and I comped it all together, chose the best, everything that flowed the best, because she had a lot of ad libs and things, and I just pieced together the ones that felt the best, and the song was done. The frustrating part was that we recorded this song a year ago. So I think July last year we recorded this song and it was finished. And I wanted to get it out by the end of the year last year, but timing with what she was doing and everything, we couldn't get it out in time. And then she goes and wins Entertainer of the Year, and I present it to her. And if you watch that moment back, I've got an extra level of elation because I know we've got this song sitting waiting to come out. So
Talk
yeah,
about the stars aligning. I mean, there's a whole load of stuff just going on there. And then bingo, you've got this song good to go.
yeah.
I'm going to I mean, there's some of the songs that we're more familiar with, but some of the other tracks on there are from High really jump out as well. So, for example, Wildside. The moment I heard it, and I mentioned energy earlier on, but there's a lot of energy on the album. That strikes me as a bit of an anthem. I can almost hear the crowd singing that back to you, taking over the song when you're performing it live. What's
Fingers
the
crossed. Yes.
inspiration there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've lived in Nashville a long time, and prior to meeting my wife, I knew a lot of girls that were Southern raised girls, very sort of prim and proper, and a particular kind of Southern raising in America. And but 5 days a week, they're super professional, super diligent, on time, reliable, just all this stuff, very almost straight laced, 5 days a week. And then on a Friday night, if you're lucky enough, you'll get to see this other side, this other side of them.
I mean, what a combo! That's the
It's
dream
the
team, isn't
best.
it?
It's the best, right? That's the best. It's Jekyll and Hyde in all the right ways. So the song is about that.
So as we work our way through High, Straight Line also is a song that jumps out near the beginning of the album. So again, the inspiration behind that.
Yeah, Straight Line was one of the early songs we wrote after the 615 fiasco, and that thing didn't work. And I'm like, I needed about a month to just get out of my, you know, feeling just beaten down by the whole thing because I'd spent so long on it. And then I had like, okay, let's shake it off. Let's get back in the studio. Let's start writing some songs. And Straight Line was one of the early ones. And it was really born of almost a sort of I felt like I was released from my own thing that I was in that didn't work out. And I'm like, forget that, forget 615, forget that whole thing. It didn't work. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun and get out of the monotony and get back into life again. And so Straight Line was born of that.
You could have been describing a relationship there. The way you got out of
Yeah.
this relationship that wasn't working and you left
Yeah.
it to one side. And then you said you wanted to go and have fun. It's like that with this album, isn't it?
Well, it's a fine line between monotony and simplicity. I think the key for life for me is not allowing monotony to creep in. And so many of us fall into it because we've got to get up early, we've got to go to work, we've got to take care of the family, we've got to pay the bills, we've got to take care of our other family, and it's like whatever life, just life on life's terms. But routine and monotony can start to creep in because of what we got to do. And Straight Line is just a call to trying to get some of the color back into your life, even if it's only for 3 minutes listening to this song.
That's a really good insight, and it nails as well, you know, how habitual we are as humans. And if you don't sometimes get out of that, you could be in trouble with the relationship for sure. I noticed on High, there's a number of references to haven't seen the sun for days and blue sky. I'm on a lighter note here, Keith. You didn't write the album in Ireland, where I come from, by any chance. So, you know, haven't seen the sun, because
Right.
there'll be a lot of Irish people be able to relate to those sentiments.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm from in Australia is sunny kind of most of the time. So
Yeah.
um I've always I've always gravitated towards those songs that pull me up out of the gloom and the doom and kind of pull me forward. And I know that over the years a lot of people have sort of thought, gosh, you're such a happy-go-lucky, windows down, sunny, everything's great, good for you, Keith. You write those songs, but I think I write a lot of them because I can get pretty depressed myself, and I need them to keep me up. I need those songs. I wrote those songs because I want to be more like that, not because I'm like that a lot of the times. I want to be more like that. So they're kind of like whistling in the dark songs a lot of the time. They're keeping me just on track myself, right?
That's really, really good. You
Mm.
know, to know this stuff too, because we only see the best side of Keith. You know, that's that. So now
Right, right.
we're getting a little more insight into that.
Yeah.
A couple more tracks that jump out for me, and we mentioned, or you mentioned it earlier on, Daytona.
Mm.
Again, that first of all, I've lucky enough to have been in that neck of the woods, but also just the whole vibe of the track. That's a real standout.
I've always listened to songs metaphorically. You know, Daytona doesn't have to be literally about the place, but wherever your Daytona is, wherever
Yeah.
your romantic memory with this person that was just a very brief fling, wherever that was, that's your Daytona. And then that's how I've always listened to songs. And so I can connect with them really fast because of that.
But you're bang on as well when you mentioned a minute ago about music as well, and you know you particularly sculpt these songs to put you and to keep you in a good mood. But
Mm.
that's the connection with all of us. That's why we love the songs and the artists we do, because they change your mood and they bring those happy things to you. I mean, it's almost like a drug, but in a good way.
Yes. Yeah. Someone said to me years ago, they go, we only listen to music to feel good. And I went, oh, that's not true. Sometimes I want to listen to the most devastating song and bawl my eyes out. And he goes, yeah, because it feels good. And I went, you're right, it does. It does feel good. Yeah, okay. Touche.
Here's an impossible question for you. You know, with the new album, but do you have a favorite yourself from the album, or does that change?
Yeah, well, different reasons. They're different moods, Every song has a slightly different mood from the song before it. Different energy, a different theme, literally a different key. No two songs on this record back to back are in the same key. Uh, so they're sequenced for a very specific reason. 11 songs, 40 minutes top to bottom. That's my idea of a perfect road trip album length. And hopefully everybody enjoys it that way.
Funny you should say the road trip thing, but that's exactly what I was thinking. When I put the album on, I'm not just saying that, but as you've mentioned it, that's what jumped into my mind. You know, and that because for some of us who've been on those American road trips, and you got the music blasting and maybe the roof down, that's what this album, or at least some of the tracks on it, comes across.
Yeah. It's my favorite place to listen to music is in the car or just traveling, even if I'm on a plane going somewhere or whatever. I like it. I like listening to music that way when I can just sort of just be at one with it, put the headphones on and lose myself in it.
Um,
Yep.
Spend a lot of time in Vegas these days performing, and I know you've got some shows next year also. Does that suit you more as a performer? Because quite honestly, you can set up camp there for you know, a run in a residency, and then the fans come to you as
Yeah.
opposed to you touring it around all the time on the road.
Yeah, it's a great experience. And we can also build things on stage that wouldn't go on a truck. We don't have to
Yes.
worry about trucking all this gear. So you can just put together a really good looking stage that's going to stay there night after night. And for me as a performer, though, it's really not that different. Someone early on said to me, this is my third residency that we've done in Vegas and different venue each time. And someone said, boy, isn't it going to get challenging being on the exact same stage every night? And I went, that's what every tour is. I mean, you take all your production with you on a tour. So in effect, I'm walking onto the same kind of stage every night when we tour. Um, the audience is different every night when you tour. Well, it's different every night in Vegas. I found a lot more similarities. And for me, it's just about I come out swinging right out of the gate. I want to get everybody in the audience engaged and let them know this is a participation thing. I'm not a TED talk. I'm I'm not here to espouse wisdoms. I'm here to just make sure you release, let go, have the time of your life. But I need you to participate in this thing tonight. That's my whole mission.
Well, finally, then, Keith, there has been some wisdom that has seeped through this chat today from you, so I appreciate that. But you mentioned, well, I saw you in the UK last time you were here performing, and that interaction you've got with the audience, and when you pull people up on stage,
Mm.
it's a whole natural vibe. But my main question for you though is, are you coming back to the UK?
Oh, we'll definitely be coming back. Absolutely. Particularly now we've got some new music out and we're putting the whole tour together. I'm dying to get back and play. We had such a great time on that last tour.
Well, there was such a brilliant vibe that time when I saw you. I happened to be in London. Well, listen, good luck with the album. I don't think you're going to need it, but good luck with it.
Always. Thank you, Eamon.
And maybe you could swing by the studio next time you're in London, and we'll have a chat face to face.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Maybe play a song or two. I'll bring my guitar.
Definitely. Listen, perfect. I'm booking that diary in now. Listen,
Done.
have a great time, Keith, and a pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you, Eamon. You too, man.